my god, today I'm so hyped that I haven't shaved, but I'm just too excited, so let's start. Hello guys, one more time and welcome to Ring Royalty. My name is Alexis, as you already know, and today we're going to review the Royal Rumble 2021. This paper was really exciting and I can't wait to talk about it. Remember that I only talk about women's matches, so for that reason I'm only going to review the 3 women's matches that happened, 1 on the kickoff show and 2 on the main show. Without any further to say, let's get right into the review. The first women's match of the night happened in the kickoff show, and it was Asuka and Charlotte defending the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships against Team Shania, Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. I never in my life expected Charlotte Flair to be in the kickoff show, so this is how bad WWE has booked the Women's Tag Team titles. I mean, they are not important at all, even though you have Charlotte Flair and the current Raw Women's Champion Asuka in the match. They're still on the kickoff show. That's a discussion for another day. So this is the match that I care the least about, because I mean, it hasn't had a build up. Charlotte have been doing her thing with Lacey Evans and Ric Flair. Asuka was having her matches against Alexa Bliss, and Baszler and Jax were fighting Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. So I have no idea why this match happened in the first place, but I guess that is not important in WWE anymore. So we had the women's tag team title match. I think most of the match was basically a copy and paste from the TLC match that we have on December, but it wasn't a bad match. It's just like nothing really stood out to me and I didn't really feel anything watching this match, honestly. One of the only things that made me react was Shayna Baszler's knee strike that sounded brutal and looked like she destroyed her opponent. It is so good. Lacey Evans' interference probably was the highlight or the only thing that you could actually remember from this match. We all know that she's having this affair sort of with Ric Flair just to piss Charlotte off. Why? I'm not sure, and I think they haven't explained it yet, but Lacey despises Charlotte apparently, and the way that she's going to get into her head is by basically hanging around with her father. I mean, why not? After fighting for about 7 or 8 minutes, Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax finally won the women's tag team titles back from Asuka and Charlotte after the interference from Lacey Evans, where she hit an assisted women's right on Charlotte Flair, followed up by Nia Jax's leg drop to get the pin on Charlotte and win the titles. So, Team Shania, I am so done with Team Shania, but if we look at the bright side, I am assuming that Charlotte Flair is going to get out of the tag team division and focus on Lacey Evans and her father, while Asuka tries to defend the Raw Women's Championship, because remember that is a singles title, thank you. Yeah, so this match is nothing special. If you didn't watch it, you're not missing much. Charlotte and Lacey's feud is probably going to continue. I am guessing maybe Alexa is going to feud with Asuka, like for real this time. That's why they lost the titles. And the purpose of all of this was actually get Charlotte a partner so she can win the tag titles and become a Grand Slam champion. And now that this happened, they don't really know what to do with them. So basically they just dropped the title back to the original champions, who were Shayna and Nia, which I can't stand together anymore, but that's a conversation for another day as well. So Shayna and Nia, the new women's tag team champions, the second time that they hold the titles, joining the team of Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross and the Golden Role Models as 2-time champions. Am I impressed? No. Am I interested? Not really, but we will see how this goes. I thought they were going to break Shayna and Nia up. I guess that these 2 women winning the titles once again is a signal that they are not going to break up anytime soon, but you can always pray, right? So the second match of the night was Sasha Banks defending the SmackDown Women's Championship against Carmella. I have to begin by saying that I prefer their match at TLC, but this one wasn't bad at all. I think similar to the WWE Women's Tag Team title match, WWE was kind of lazy, so they did sort of like a copy and paste from the matches from last pay-per-view, but in this case it was well done. First, we have to talk about the outfits, because both Carmella and Sasha always serve. They have amazing fashion sense. and they do excellent jobs with their outfits. In this match, I do have some spots that I want to highlight because it was a very creative and fun match, such as Carmella using Reginald's body as a trampoline to hit a diving clothesline against the commentator's table on Sasha. That was nice, and also the way that Sasha attacked Reginald outside the ring with some head scissors. The transitions was so smooth, and getting Reginald kicked out this time, I think it added to the match, so maybe Carmella could show a little bit more of what she can do on her own. I still believe that the match at TLC was Carmella's best match ever, but this one wasn't that far behind. I think Carmella still had a great showing, and she is not only good in the ring now, but she's showing her personality and her character with the trash talking and her facial expressions. We haven't seen Carmella this relevant ever since she lost the SmackDown Women's Championship in 2018. So I am so happy to see that. And also, it is very important to point out how Sasha Banks, despite being the champion, always tries to improve. She always puts something new in her arsenal, and that keeps everything fresh. I think Sasha can bring the best out of anyone that she wrestles. I mean, she's such a goddess in the ring at this point, and it is so good to see that Sasha and Carmella have so much chemistry and they can work great matches again and again. One of my favorite spots from this match definitely was Carmella's suicide dive. It looked very risky. Fortunately, everything was good and she looked very aggressive while doing it. Also, her sequence of super kicks, I mean, Sasha sells them very well, so it also adds to the feel of the match. And I also want to point out the way that Carmella is using the Code of Silence more often now. It is so great because that maneuver looks devastating. Sasha managing to counter that by holding Carmella's arm and then twisting everything so she can hit Carmella right in the face with a knee. That looked devastating as well, almost as good as Shayna Baszler's knee strike from earlier. The ending was a little bit weird, but I appreciate the way that Sasha Banks can lock in the band's statement. I mean, she has a million ways to lock it in, and that is something that we haven't really seen with other finishers or other submission holds. So Sasha locks in the bank statement, making Carmella tap out, and she continues with her reign as SmackDown Women's Champion. This is the first time ever that Sasha Banks is going to surpass 100 days as champion, and we are living for it. I know we are. It was a very good match, even though I prefer the match at TLC. That doesn't mean this was bad. I think they both looked good, and it was interesting and a nice touch to see the title being defended, you know, because I mean the Raw Women's Championship is barely defended in pay-per-views anymore. So it is nice to see that the SmackDown Women's division is still strong and can deliver good matches each and every time they are on pay-per-view. And we're finally here in the last match of the night for the women, and it is the 30 Women Royal Rumble match, the one that people were looking forward to the most. A lot of things happened in this match and I want to talk about all of them, but we'll go one by one because there's a lot of things going on. I made my predictions for this Royal Rumble match when it comes to returns and possible winner, and I'm going to leave the link over here if you haven't watched my video. So some of the things that I said were true, and we start with Naomi's return at number 2. I am so happy to see Naomi back, and I am so glad that Bianca Belair was number 3, so she had some interactions with Naomi. That sequence that they had in the early going was so spectacular and just proves how they are just two of the most amazing and most athletic people in the roster today. The athleticism that they possess is just unreal and unmatched. Billie Kay's comedy angle is just good enough to warm my heart. She's killing her current gimmick, her current role. She's hilarious, so she's doing everything right. And we were talking about the returns earlier, and one of the returns beside Naomi when it comes to legends was Jillian Hall to make Billie and Jilly. I enjoyed that alliance while it lasted. It was so much fun. I didn't expect Jillian to return at all, and I am so glad that WWE called her up because she really deserves it. She was a workhorse, and I am so glad that she had the opportunity to showcase what she can do in the Royal Rumble match, because it's always good to remember women from the past that maybe didn't get enough opportunities, but now they can have a little moment to shine. Another unexpected and huge return was Victoria. Victoria is someone that a lot of people, including myself, were expecting to see back in WWE at some point, but for some reason she was blacklisted, or there were rumors about that. And personally, I never thought it would happen again. I am so glad that she was back. We had the Battle of the Widow's Peaks with Peyton and Victoria. It was so nice. I know that when she hit it, it wasn't as impactful as in the past, but it's always good to remember that amazing finisher, and it's just a pleasure to see Victoria in the ring, so I am not going to complain about that. Speaking of Peyton Royce, another lovely spot was when she and Billie Kay sort of reunite, and then Ruby Riott appeared and Billie Kay wasn't sure if she should say iconic or not, because she's trying to fit in with the Riot Squad. I mean, the storytelling was there, and this is something that made this Royal Rumble so amusing and entertaining. We have a lot of spots, a lot of characters, a lot of storytelling, and that is what makes everything great. Sometimes you don't only need great in-ring performance, you need to have some story, you need to have some background, you need to have some spots, and all of that was in this match, and I am very thankful for that. Something that a lot of people might have not noticed is that Liv Morgan's attire was tribute to Christina Aguilera's Dirty music video. I mean, I am a pop icon, so I'm sorry, I said it wrong. So I am such a big fan of pop music, and Christina Aguilera is an icon of the genre that I appreciate that, you know, reference and that tribute to her. Also, I want to point out that I wasn't expecting Santana Garrett to be part of this Women's Royal Rumble. She hasn't been seen in NXT for a while, and I was expecting her to be fired at some point, honestly, no harm feelings. I mean, I am glad that she had the opportunity to showcase what she can do. I know she is a great wrestler. I have seen her as Britney in TNA, but in NXT she hasn't really shown much. She has been jobbing to everyone. So I am glad that she had at least this spot in the Royal Rumble to show what she can do. And maybe a lot of people would take notes now and know who Santana Garrett is just by this short participation in the Royal Rumble. The elimination of Dana Brooke and Dakota Kai at the hands of Rhea Ripley were devastating, they were brutal. Rhea Ripley is such a powerhouse who can women handle anyone, and that's why she was one of the favorites to win the event. I mean, both of those eliminations looked devastating. So I've already talked about Jillian, Victoria's and Naomi's return, but some other legends that returned were Tori Wilson, Mickie James and Alicia Fox. And let's talk about Alicia Fox for a second, because her spot was so interesting and out of the box. So Alicia Fox became the 24/7 champion during the Women's Royal Rumble match. I mean, it was creative. I know that she lost the 24/7 championship a couple minutes after she won it, and she was eliminated from the Royal Rumble by Mandy Rose, and I am so happy that she managed to have a Royal Rumble moment because she deserved it. Another people that deserve better, and I talk about this in my video over here about why Mickie James' 2020 return was a flop, was Mickie James, and I am so happy that at least, despite not having the greatest showing out of all of the women in the Royal Rumble, she had some spots and she had nice interactions with the likes of Charlotte Flair, Naomi and Lacey Evans. She showed some personality as well. She was eliminated by Lacey after a women's right, but despite all of that, I believe that it was nice to see Mickie James back. Tori Wilson also had a great showing, way better than in the Royal Rumble of 2018. She's a girl that never won a championship despite her popularity, and a lot of people thought she was just an eye candy, but I am so happy that she's coming back to remind me who she is, because let's remember that she retired because of a back injury, and to see her back in the ring doing different maneuvers and bumping, because she took some crazy bumps, is just a proof of how much she loves the business. So mad respect for Tori Wilson. One of my favorite spots in the Women's Royal Rumble is always to see how Naomi is going to save herself from elimination, and this year it was all thanks to Bianca Belair's hair, and they managed to pound each other for a bit until they realized that they should work together to save their asses, and they both decided to team up and get back in the ring instead of trying to eliminate each other. Another nice thing that I want to highlight is that Lana managed to eliminate Nia Jax by pulling out the top rope. It wasn't that impressive or that shocking. I was expecting something better, but in the end it was still some sweet revenge for Lana, some poetic justice, and that was very nice. Now, things that I didn't like or that I didn't understand. First of all, I didn't understand Carmella's participation in this Rumble match. She has already challenged for the SmackDown Women's Championship earlier that night, so I'm not sure why she needed to participate. It was a bit pointless. Her participation looked sloppy and slow. It didn't do much. I mean, she was eliminating in a sort of dumb way, so I guess the purpose was just to, you know, remember everyone that Carmella's character is more like a diva now, but it didn't really add much to the Rumble. I mean, I'm sorry, that's my opinion. I think it would have been fine if Carmella didn't participate again, and maybe they gave that spot to some other NXT girl like Candice LeRae or Indy Hartwell, I don't know, Mercedes Martinez. Another thing that I can't stand anymore is Team Shania. It was so ridiculous how they join forces to eliminate people, and then out of nowhere they start to fight each other. Then Nia eliminates Shayna, and then out of nowhere when she gets eliminated by Lana, like I mentioned a minute ago, then they just act like nothing happened and start to destroy everyone. Like, why? What's the point? Team Shania, just fade away, please. I am sorry, it frustrates me a lot just to see Nia Jax there because I can't stand her, but Shayna Baszler has so much potential as a singles competitor, and her being stuck in this partnership with Nia Jax, which is not really adding much to the division as a whole. Why would you let that happen instead of turning Shayna into a singles competitor? I just don't understand. One last thing that I didn't really like that much was Alexa Bliss's spot, because she was one of the favorites and I really wanted to see Fiend Alexa or Possessed Alexa having, you know, moments in the Royal Rumble match, maybe decimating people like Charlotte Flair or Bianca Belair, people that you expect to win. It didn't happen because Rhea Ripley eliminated Alexa before she turned. I guess it was a logical idea and it was the thing to do, but Alexa Bliss didn't really show much in this match, which was a huge letdown because, I mean, she's one of the most relevant women in the roster today. So I at least expected to see her, you know, turn and eliminate a couple people and maybe then get eliminated by mistake or eliminating herself, maybe Randy Orton appearing or something like that. Anyway, so we go to the final four and we had Natalya, who earned the 30 spot by defeating Tamina in a random match at WWE backstage. Yeah. Let's forget about that. Natalya, we had Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and Charlotte Flair. Natalya was the first one eliminated out of this group, no shocker at all. She didn't really have enough hype to win the match. I literally thought that she was going to be attacked and replaced by the original spot 30, but I guess they actually decided to go with Natalya to close the Royal Rumble match, so Then at some point I got worried because Charlotte Flair was doing so well and looking so strong in this match that I thought they were going to make Charlotte win for the second year in a row, because I mean, it's Charlotte Flair and it's WWE, so it could actually happen. Thank God Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair unite forces to eliminate the Queen. I don't understand why she looked like a maniac laughing on the floor after she was eliminated, but we will see what happens with her on Raw. But back to the match. Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair were beating the hell out of each other until Bianca managed to eliminate Rhea Ripley with a huge and devastating clothesline and become the winner of the Royal Rumble 2021. Yes! The EST of WWE is going to WrestleMania, thank God. I wanted it so bad, you already know that, and I know a lot of fans wanted it too, so I am so glad that Bianca Belair has the opportunity to be in WrestleMania and probably become champion. I mean, she had an impressive showing last year's Royal Rumble, but this year she made even more history. Not only she was the winner of the match, but she also had more eliminations to add to her record, and she also set a new record for the longest participation in a single Royal Rumble match for women. 2021 looks like the year of the EST, and we will see what happens in the future, but I'm pretty excited to see what's going on. I am sure that Bianca Belair against Sasha Banks is happening at Mania. I mean, on paper it sounds like one for the ages, but we will see what happens. I doubt that she's challenging Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. I am so happy for Bianca, she deserves it, and she got emotional in her post-match interview, and I got emotional as well, so I cannot say anything else. Congratulations, Bianca Belair. Okay, so this was my review for the Royal Rumble 2021. This is the first review of the year and I am very happy that it was an amusing show, entertaining to watch, and I am so happy also that Bianca Belair won. But I think a couple people were missing. For example, Melina and Sonya Deville as participants would have been something very nice. Now tell me down in the comments, because that is my opinion. What about yours? Who did you miss in the Royal Rumble? Who did you enjoy seeing the most? Did you like the pay-per-view or not? All of that information in the comment box, please. Once again, I want to thank you for your support because that's what I do and I really appreciate it. Remember that next week there is a collaboration coming, so stay tuned for that. And also remember that hitting the subscription button and giving me a like would also motivate me to keep posting videos. Thank you very much. My name is Alexis, as you already know. Here is my Instagram as always if you want to talk to me. And I will see you guys next week. Please stay safe and I hope you enjoyed the Rumble. Goodbye.